People didn't really appreciate the butts in my last week's video, and I don't know. I think butts are great, but people didn't like them. So let's try a different approach this week. I'm gonna try to talk about how I prepare a workshop, specifically the StubHub workshop that I'm doing this Friday. The first step was I just went for a 10-mile run where I was kind of thinking about what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna approach the whole thing. And I think I have it in here somewhere as a jumble of ideas and loose drafts of things that we're gonna do. That's basically where I'm at right now. I have a week to prepare and I think that's just enough. So I just spent 3 hours live coding this instead of working on the workshop. Now I have to figure out how to use it as part of the workshop. So I think, well, it shows the basic concepts of rendering React components and doing basic things, and I might be able to use it. I think I can use it. I'm pretty sure this is a much better example than a to-do app, and I'm sure 20 people at StubHub are gonna love this because this is super useful in their day jobs. Monday night, just around midnight, well, almost half an hour past midnight. I didn't get as much done for the workshop on Sunday as I hoped I would, but I think I now have a good set list. Now I get to play with Gatsby to try to make a basic website for this so that tomorrow I can fill it up with a bunch of copy. Workshop prep is going really well. Gatsby is amazing. I'll make a separate post just about Gatsby because it's really, really perfect. It's the best thing ever. I had a meeting earlier today with the workshop people where I presented my set list and the general outline of how I want everything to go. And they said all is well. Now I'm just filling up my web page where it's like the materials that people get for so that they can reference the workshop before and after and during the workshop and so on. I'm just filling it up with content. I'm really loving Gatsby. It's like amazing. Let me show you. Let's say I write some markdown over here. So I write markdown and it immediately shows up as HTML on the page. I can insert images as well. It's kind of hard to type with image, shows up here. And I can make code examples. Code shows up here. One of the problems is that there's no syntax highlighting for React. I wonder if there's a way for me to fix that. I sense a lot of yak shaving coming on because 2 hours later and I got the index page done. So it's 7 a.m. now and the workshop is tomorrow, and I've gotten, I think, less than a quarter of it done, and the section I'm working on, which is the first section, does have the most copy and the most things to write. I'm probably writing too much copy into the page itself, but I think it's gonna be easier in the next section when I'm just basically going through the code and stuff. So I was able to finish the biggest quarter of the workshop, which is great, but it's really going a lot slower than I thought it. The good news is workshop is tomorrow, the biggest quarter of the materials is done, and I'm pretty sure there's enough up here so that I can wing anything that I don't manage to write down. The only problem is that people then can't reference that. Why is there a big hose here? That was fun. I was able to finish about a quarter of all the materials that I want to give to people. And, well, the biggest quarter, so more like a big third. I'm trying to decide if the example I picked is too much or not enough. I'm pretty sure it's not too much because it's very simple, but I do also have a tendency of picking examples that are way too ambitious. Even about my book, the main thing people say is that, you know what, dude, your sample projects are kind of ambitious. So I'm not sure what to do about that, but I'm hoping this one is not too ambitious. Tonight's gonna be a fun night. But anyway, the biggest issue with this situation is that I have to go to work, and the problem there isn't that I'm spending time at work and it's taking time away from preparing the biggest workshop, probably the biggest workshop I've ever done. The problem is all the mind shares. What I really need right now is to be able to spend the entire day thinking about this stuff. But I can't. I have to think about work stuff. Alright, day of the workshop. I was able to get the whole materials finished by the end of, well, by the time I went to bed last night, so just a bit past midnight. So we're good. Everything got done, everything's ready. Now I'm just gathering some important supplies. Elixir of the Gods, protein bars, so that if I get hungry I can, Not Be Hungry, and HDMI dongle, never tested. I bought it specifically for the workshop. Sunglasses and my hat. Ready to go. One thing I am worried about for today though is that I've never had a full day workshop on my own. I don't know if I can keep people entertained for an entire day just on my own. It's almost like having a stand-up comedy show, you know? But I think it's gonna be great. They're all gonna be nerds, they're all engineers like me. I'm a nerd, we can just nerd out together on this cool React stuff and we can build cool shit and it's gonna be great. I think they're all gonna love it. Even though there is a feedback form afterwards where they have all these opportunities to say that I sucked or that they hated the workshop, but I don't think they're gonna do that because I think it's gonna go great. Man, I am tired from performing all day. I think the workshop went well. I'm kind of tired just from performing all day and being up in front of... Started as 26 people. By the end, we had, I think, 17 or 18 left, which isn't as bad as it sounds. I think we lost a lot of people just because it was Friday afternoon and it was time to go home already. When we finally wrapped up, people cleared out in like a second. Well, actually, it was about a minute. People who stayed and talked to me said that they enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to wait for their feedback forms so that I can actually see what they think. It's kind of hard to... People don't really like giving feedback in person because it's kind of, you know, it's emotionally charged. It's confrontational to give feedback in person, so a lot of people don't like to do that. And yeah, I think it went well. You know, now that I've had some time to think about it, I think there were two pieces of feedback that were really good on Friday. A guy who said that I'm a very good presenter, and he used the word very vivacious. Not one you hear very often. The other piece of feedback that was very valuable is from the guy who actually paid for everything, who said that he liked my examples and he liked that I tried to make React more fun and more approachable to everyone, but he would prefer for it to be a bit more boring, a bit closer to what these people do in their day jobs. Now I have a week to prepare for the Redux workshop and try to tone it down a little bit, be less, wow, this is so cool, and more, this is how you would actually use this in your day job. So I think a 2-hour run would be perfect to figure out how to do that.